Okay, I have not been inspired to make a video in a while, just cause I've actually been busy. I'm out here today, we're watering the pasture today. Got the pump on. Beautiful, we had a couple of beautiful days. We had some rains back in November, we've had nothing in December. We should be really wet by now. And it's like I said, I'm watering pasture, I got neighbors watering their orchards. It's just too dry. Not a drought situation, but we just haven't had any rain. But December's not over yet. Something I forgot to do. Months back, I did the video where I was at the hospital. I took my cousin to the hospital, one that had the stroke. I never did a follow-up video to that. He actually passed away. Excuse me. He had a major stroke the first night in the hospital. His brain was pretty much over at that point, but they keep you alive for so many days to run some tests. It was about 8 days later they finally took him off life support, and so he's passed. I don't have to go feed him every day and all that thing. It's going to sound selfish, but I say this with all respect. It's a relief that he's finally passed, and not. I didn't mind going to feed him every day, but to go see him deteriorate a little more every day for a year and a half takes its toll. You just after a while, you just kind of get numb to it, but you just see this slow, gradual decline every day, and that is a relief not to have to see that anymore. And the way he was living was no way to live. So it's a good thing that he's passed. Yeah, I forgot to do in case anyone was wondering, hey, whatever happened to his cousin? Well, he passed. They also said the neurologist, I think is his title, said he'd never seen such cholesterol plaque in any one individual. In the, I think it's the carotid arteries that feed the brain. He said he'd never seen such blockage. Of course, those cheeseburgers I fed him every day probably not helping. Another thing, I think I'm losing my touch with the animals, to be honest with you. I've had rescue dogs, rescue cats, cattle. When I say rescue dogs, I've always had about 10 dogs around. Rescue dogs, rescue cats, cattle, sheep, goats. I got a wild pig. She's not wild, but she's been with me for a long time. All these animals, and at one time people used to come to me and say, hey, we got a lamb that's down, or it's not getting up, or it's not eating. I'd go over there, do a few things and snap them out of it. And I had a touch for that, and I think I've lost it. I just don't notice things anymore. I lost one of my cats died. I could have saved him. I just didn't notice it at the time. Lost a calf this year, which was just a complete bonehead move on my part. Just didn't. It's like, he looks a little funny, and just went about my business. It didn't register that, yeah, he's dehydrated. He's got a problem. Lost one of my dogs for Thanksgiving. Had a big dog fight. Lost 2 dogs in that deal. But I either got to start paying more attention or thin the herd. So I'm just realizing that either it's too much stuff on my mind, I'm not into it like I used to be, that's a fact. But I used to be very aware, very perceptive of these things. Right now I'll walk by a sick animal, just it doesn't register. And the problem is with a sick animal, if he's sickly on Monday and you don't catch it till Wednesday, he's already 2 days into a dehydration. You ain't gonna pull him out before he goes into shock. So I gotta rethink my approach there. Another thing I did too is I spoke about eating a lot of fruit a while back, a high fruit diet, all the 880 watermelons and all that. Eat a ton of fruit. And I had a guy told me about this summer. I didn't think about it. But come wintertime, The fruit that's available in the stores is no longer edible. It may look like an orange, but it tastes like a shoe. Once watermelons went out of season, party was over for me. So I've had to eat a little bit of regular food, and I tell you, I feel like crap. Because there's just not enough stuff available. I mean, I'm in Central California, we grow everything, but we ship it off somewhere. Oranges are just now starting to come into play. But I gotta turn this around because although I have to admit, I went and had enchiladas last night. The world's greatest enchiladas I've had in my whole life. I told the guy too, this is the best I ever had. Of course, it makes me sick as hell, but anyway, I'm just rambling. The fruit diet, when I was doing all that stuff this summer, which I still eat a ton of fruit, probably half as much, but I'm eating more cooked meals throughout the day. When I was eating all that fruit, man, I felt great. Just felt good, tons of energy. Now I'm kind of, So next year we got to come up with a different plan. Anyhow, I'm just rambling on. I wanted to say that thing about not doing the follow-up video on my cousin. He said it's better that's over now. Now I got about 6 months to clean his. He was a hoarder, so I got to clean his place up. It's gonna take me 6 months. But luckily, I own a dump truck. Anyhow, I better shut up. Love you. God bless.